Hello, and welcome to our fourth devlog for a Handed. Throughout the past couple of weeks, we've been hard at work writing the narrative and just polishing a few things. And by polish, I do mean that you see a completely new living room here. We revamped the journal UI, and we've done some minor quality of life changes in this build. There's actually quite a lot that we've been building in here. So much so that, in fact, that I have to delay this devlog for about a couple of weeks. So you'll be seeing this devlog on a Sunday, and I'm recording this on the 29th of October. The lights just dimmed a bit. Yeah, I'll be recording this on the 29th of October, which is a Saturday. So you see why things are a bit late here. But anyway, got quite a lot I'd like to show you here in this video, so stay tuned for that. Now, the narrative is almost complete. We still have to do some proofreading. There's still a lot of like minor spelling errors, grammar and punctuation that we kind of left in there because we were kind of in a rush to get the devlog up and working, and so we're just going through and reviewing all the narrative dialogue that we've written, just making the writing look a bit better. So what do we have in this new build here? So we got new starting dialogue here, which you'll find when you build up the game. You also realize that if you watch previous devlog videos, that the living room is now completely different. Instead of a red color scheme, because the host study room is already red, as you can see here. We now changed the living room to a green color. This also means that Easy has to redesign everything too. The clock, the fireplace, and this hallway here I'm going to right now is completely different. Also, from here, the whole study would actually be around here, but as you saw earlier, the whole study room can be accessed from here, because the previous living room was not actually meant to be the whole study room in the room layout. It was completely different to what we planned. But we needed a living room because in the previous builds it was just completely empty. But we just need to get one up and running. There's also a lot of things you can interact with, so you can also highlight all the objects here. There's quite a lot to explore here. Teen seems pretty cool now. What a waste of good tea. And you also heard a sound effect when you interact with it. We added those too. We outsourced a sound designer. They designed all the sound effects for us, and that is a really big help, so we can focus more on the main core mechanics that we planned out for this game. So thanks for that. Really do appreciate it. Anyways, there is a lot of things you can interact here. Let's go to the bookshelf here. What kind of things rich people read? I don't know, let's go read Heart of Darkness. Joseph Conrad, the Polish English novelist famous for writing Heart of Darkness. Truly a classic novella for the ages, a critique of Europe's colonial rule over Africa accomplished by some subtle undertones of power dynamics and morality. Perhaps I should reread it sometime soon. That's pretty much all the redesign of the living room, apart from this hallway here. This just leads to the guest's bedroom. But I want to go over here for a second. This is the kitchen. It's still the same thing, and because I bring it here because I know right now that Easy is going to redesign this kitchen too. Because when you highlight all the objects, say this fish, it's still that weird cube thing. Truth is, this is the first room that was implemented in this game. The first room, not the living room. the kitchen. So everything looks a bit low res. Highlighting objects is still a bit weird, but the dialogue still works as intended. So nothing but dirty dishes here. Honestly, I can't blame them. I won't want to do them either. So I know Easy is going to redesign this whole room, get it very good looking, and we'll see about that. I don't know when Easy would do that, but I know for a fact it's sometime soon. You may also notice this journal right here. Guri implemented the UI for this. I know Easy also drew this journal image right here, and I went in to animate it so you get this nice pop out when you click on it. Before, it's like very basic Unity UI, just very bare bones UI, but at the time we just want to get the UI journal interactions working. So now here you can probably see all the evidence here, the notes and the confessions you have. It is categorized in different sections. You can click on these to change what section you're viewing, and you see here when you do compare or show something to any NPC, it will show right here. But let's get something to write in there. Now at this point in the devlog, I must say that there will be minor spoilers from now on, because yes, we have written a lot of dialogue, but if you don't want to see any spoilers, you want to experience this game for the first time when we do eventually release this, then you might not want to watch this. Maybe I might put a timestamp in the video, it depending on what I do later on in this video, but minor spoilers warning here, and I won't spoil it too much. Let's go talk to the waiter here. I'm the detective. I'm here to inquire about the missing hostess. What can I do for you? Okay, we got different questions that we can ask. And then in the background, Yarn Spinner is also tracking what we say and what kind of important things that we gather from the NPCs. You'll see that in a bit. So let's ask, where were you on the night she went missing? I'm just doing my usual tasks. Sir, ma'am? What does that entail? I usually just take care of the guests, serving food and drinks, and tending to other needs, as well as keeping the fire well kept. Last thing I did was serve dinner to the hostess, some nice grilled fish. You see up there, and I know it's a bit hard to see actually, but you saw a note being added and a nice little sound effect. That's to know that something has been added to the journal, and it's probably very important. God damn, I should put my phone on silent. Anything unusual you noticed? Not much else happened, but I know that in cases like these, it's always the husband that gets suspected first, but he didn't do it. It's not like that. And where would I find him right about now? Should be in the study. Guess I better go talk to him. Let's go check the journal. Here you go. The waiter served the hostess a fish dinner. Any important things that you'll find in the story, they will be automatically be added to the journal. It also depends on what kind of note that is being added. Either a note, it could be important evidence, or eventually, when you do present some evidence to a NPC, they may confess about something, and that would be shown here. A waiter serves hostess a fish, and then if you hover over a note, it gives you more information. Apparently, the last thing he did for her. Alright. Let's go maybe talk to some more things in the living room right here. Let's go to the fireplace. Nothing like a nice fire to keep you warm on the cold winter's day. But I look at this fire, it must have been out for quite some while now. Let's go this. Seems like a regular poke. Ouch! The bottom of this thing is burning hot. I wonder when the fire went out. And here we got some new evidence. The fire poker is still hot. Okay, the clock. The more I stare at this clock, the more I feel like time is slowing down. Wait, this thing even moving? Let's see. Let's go investigate closer. Confirm that it's still a clock, but what about the other option? The more I spin around, the more utterly ridiculous you look. How eventually do you hear a click? One of the clockers came loose. Wait, it's a key. Excuse me. And there's a new evidence here. A small key from the clock hand. Got that added in. And T of it. We interact with that. The waiter. Can't do anything here. Alright. So, what happens when you do have to present something to an NPC? It depends on what kind of evidence you have, how much you talk to the NPC, because remember, you have to talk to them at a certain point to know certain things, and then that will activate an event in the background to know that you interacted with the NPC and you at least engage in a piece of dialogue. I actually do not know exactly what to present. So say the evidence here, we found that the fire poker is still hot, and we found a small key. Let's go talk to the waiter here. And since we already talked to the waiter at least once, there'll be more options that will be shown here. And while you're talking, when you go to the journal, a new prompt will show asking you what evidence to present. So what do you want to ask the waiter about? Let's say the fire poker was still hot somehow. Let's do that. Nothing to say about that. Okay, that's fine. Doesn't know that. How about the key? Nothing. Alright, that's fair enough. Fair enough, the waiter has nothing to say about the evidence, but eventually, once you do gather enough evidence and then show some of them to a character, then they will respond to that. Which, actually, I do know what to present, so let's go to ask the guest. Let's see, I want to investigate the disappearance of the hostess. What do you need? Where were you on the night? Invited for tea by the host in the living room. We'll have a nice chat, and then I retreat to my room and rest for the evening. Nothing more to it, darling. How about any other details you remember? It seemed to replace my letter opener. If you could be a dear and return to me, I'll be ever so grateful. Okay, I know exactly what it is. I'm not going to show you what else you can interact here, but again, we've written quite a lot in the past couple of weeks, so you can explore pretty much everything that's interactable in this game. Let's go to the piano. And this is where the Sound of Silence made some very nice piano sounds, as you see here. Oh wait, I just remembered. I think while we were playing this a bit, we realized that, so we have the C, F and G major here, but I remembered that we've forgotten to put in the correct major, and I know the F and G major are the same. So if we try the F major, and also the reason why I'm wearing headphones, because I can hear this too. Such grace and elegance, you managed to play a tune that is deserving of the award of the lamest performance in the history of music. Alright, let's do the G major. Yep. Good thing I found something that went wrong in this devlog. Wouldn't be something without a bug. I regretfully want to remind why I stopped playing, but something about the last scale sounded off, and then there appears to be something lodged on the key here. And then we got a letter opener. A small blade found lodged on the piano key. We don't know how I got there. I don't want to know. But yeah, I don't remember that this is the wrong sound to be playing. We do have the correct major to play, but we didn't implement it correctly. So that's something to keep in mind. We already fixed it earlier, but I just remembered in this build at least. Let's go back to the guest. And since she asked for the letter opener, let's present it to her. Did you find my darling? Oh, yes! I knew you would. Honestly, it's quite embarrassing, but I was so desperate to open my mail that I had to borrow this knife from the kitchen. Let's see. I suppose a knife was a bit overkill. You can keep the knife now. I don't have a purpose for it anymore. Chef knife. The guest had a claim it was being used for opening letters. That reminds me, after the Richard screamed at me to leave her kitchen, I caught a glance of some interesting individuals. I saw them all file in the kitchen from the back door. I suppose you could say curiosity crowd to me, as I so happened to listen into the conversation. Health department. And there we go. Very, very important details right there. A bit of a bombshell there too. So, thanks to you, the guest. The guest witnessed the chef paying a bribe. She saw some health department officials enter the kitchen. Blah blah blah. All right. I think at this point I'm not gonna go any further because I'd be spoiling more of the story, and that's not what I want. So I might leave it like that. But actually, I do know what else to show you in this build because this is also something we found in playtesting. So in Yarn Spinner, when we're writing the dialogue in the Yarn files, we have to write the dialogue, and then when we do want to jump to a certain section, we just write that piece of code in there to say, oh, jump to this section after this line. But I know in this playtesting we kind of forgotten about that. We were a bit in a rush and we just forgot to implement the correct jumps. So in playtesting we found a lot of dialogues that could make you soft lock into the game. So I know that we talked to the waiters. Sorry, not the waiters. The butler. We talked to the butler, and then in the kitchen where we talked to the chef. This is one of the soft locks that we found. So let's talk to the chef. Again, this is first introductory. And if you don't talk to the waiter first, you wouldn't see this first because you haven't talked to the waiter. That's the thing. But when you do click on this, and this should happen. Yep, it soft locks the game. You can't do anything here. You can't move because you're locked in the dialogue state. Well, you can still interact with the journal, but that is a soft lock. You're gonna have to restart the game. Again, we're in a rush. We just forgotten to implement the correct code. So now we awkwardly have to restart the game to get rid of the soft lock. So let me restart the game. And we are back. That's one of the soft locks we found. I think in playtesting we found more than 3. I think we did. I think we found more than 3. But we're actually surprised that there weren't that many soft locks. And even if they did, they're normally found around more than 5 minutes into the gameplay. So not really found much quickly. In fact, in playtesting, the players was so immersed in the story, they practically just sat there trying to find little bits of clues they can find in the rooms, and then they get really excited when they found a lead on something. So that's very exciting to hear about. To be honest, I personally do not know exactly the results, but I did hear Guri telling that in the comms, and we were freaking excited to hear that news. So, whew, that is so good to hear at this stage of development. I think this devlog is a bit short here because I want to. There's a lot of things to showcase in this build here. There's also quite a lot of narrative that I've written, and I don't want to spoil it too much for you, but I also don't want to sit here and go through all the dialogue because we've written so much. So I don't want to go that in this devlog. But right now, we're still polishing up a few things. Like I said earlier, we're still Izzy is still going to redo the kitchen, get rid of all the weird highlights that you see here, and make the textures more high res. We're also just proofreading the dialogue, correcting all the spelling errors, the grammar issues that we find because we're in a rush. And I know that we're missing a menu button here. We're missing a start menu, but that is not really the priority right now. So that will come whenever they're free to. All right, I think that is pretty much it for this devlog video. This is just a showcase of the build. We've developed so much in the past couple of weeks. We're pretty close to releasing it, and we're so excited to show you this game to you all. Coming up soon, I am going to work on some trailers because we've done so much at this point. I can actually now start planning the trailers and editing them. So if you want to see upcoming news or trailers for this game, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment down below if you want to give Elf any feedback on the game. We do appreciate it. And we will see you next time in the next devlog video. So guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. See ya.